All right, let's get our controls. Might need a little brighter. Hey, Pacola. I got our magazine. We're going to do magazine journal. Can you hear me? Let's make sure the volume. Let's check those settings. Hang on. Let's see. Okay, can you hear me okay? Hopefully. Hopefully I'm not too loud. Hopefully you can hear me. Are we good on the sound? Okay, thanks, Pacola. Hey, Diana, Jolie. Hey, Suze. Hi, Linda. The absent-minded artist. Good morning, Kenny. How you doing, Sharon? In my words, hello. Diana, Angie, Sally, Lynn. Hey, Lynn. Terry may or may not be here this morning. She was having she overdid it the last couple days. So she may or may not be here today. So we'll see. Darla, Kat, Robin. Good morning, everybody. Hey, K-More, Karen, Debbie. So good morning, everybody. Come popping in. Hope y'all are having a good Wednesday. It's hump day, people. Mike. So yeah, so y'all know if you're watching the recording that we do a little chit chat before and say good morning. Of course, we chit chat the whole show because it's a chat show, but we but we also I like to say good morning to as many people as it can coming in. Kim, working it. Yes. Oh yes, thank you, thank you, Pacola. Yeah, let me go ahead and tweet. Thank you, Pacola. Okay. Morning. Let's find my coffee, LinkedIn profile. Okay. Yes, working in magazine journals, and I have an hey, Galena, we're going to try to do something a little different too. So we'll see. Hey, Melody, how you feeling? I haven't talked to you in a couple days. How you doing? I hope you're doing okay. Hey, Rana, Jill. I'm sure I'm missing some people. I think I said hi to Sharon. So yeah, I got out the magazine journals and some magazines, and I have some old art. I haven't been tearing up my art journaling magazines, but I have stacks of them, people, stacks. So I think I'm going to use a couple. I am going to use a couple to play with today, and I think I might give one or two away. They're old ones now. I didn't even check the dates. I just grabbed them off of my piles because I have piles. Now I haven't cut up my Somerset Studio. My Somerset Studios, I've collected those since 1996. Although the last couple years, I really haven't bought every single one, but I have the very oldest ones. Am I talking too loud? Hey, wee hootie. I mean, I know I talk loud anyway, but of course, y'all can always turn the volume down. So I have some of the older ones here. Let me see what dates they are because I really don't even know. This is autumn 2013. This one is summer 2013. This one is spring 2013. And this one is winter. So these are from 2013. So we'll look at these, and I thought maybe we would play. Thanks, Picola. I thought we'd play with some of these. Plus, I have, and I am going to get a new fashion magazine. These thick new fashion magazines usually come out, I think, in September. I tore the thing off this one. I think they come out in September. This one is, I know it's at least 2, maybe 3 years old. I don't know, but I've bought them before, not even really for magazine journals. I don't really use these for magazine journals because I don't use them for magazine journals, but that I also don't usually put girls and fashion stuff in my collage. The reason I buy these is that every now and then we'll do, not that, but I don't even know what these are. Oh, I think we're doing something with color book leaves. It got stuck in there. To show you how you can use magazines to learn proportions and shapes. So I've shown this before. This isn't really what today's show is about. If y'all want to see another how to learn proportions and shapes, we can do another show on that. But that's not really what today's show is about. So, but if you want to see some more of that kind of thing, using a fashion magazine, using any fashion magazine, because it has people, to learn proportion and shape with some tracing paper and a Sharpie marker. Okay, so if y'all want to see that, because I am going to get me a new, this one's pretty beat up and torn up because we've used it for a lot of different, see, like here's one of those proportion and shape little projects, see? So yeah, and don't forget, guys, if you're talking to me, put it in caps. So I know you're talking to me. So hope, and that Melody, I miss seeing how you were feeling. Hope you're doing okay. You usually message me every now and then, and like to know you're okay. So if y'all want to see some of that, I'm not doing that today. We're going to play with just magazines. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside for another show. So we'll tag this as a Society of Idea Collectors. I don't know. Maybe Picola can tell me which one we're on. 37, 38? I'm not sure. The other thing too, guys, if your video is fuzzy, go down to the little wheel setting and turn your HD up, because sometimes YouTube will default it down to 144 and you need it up to 720 or 1080. So if you're fuzzy, turn it up. If you're buffering, turn it down to 720. This will be 36. Okay, thank you, Picola. Where's my Sharpie? Let's put that down. Society Idea Collector number 36. Okay, we'll add that on the tags. Hi, Hibiscus. Karen, I'm sure I'm missing some people coming in. Hey, Scoobs. And if I miss your question, if I miss saying something to you, I should maybe prop this up because I don't want it to glare. So let's use our blackboard and let me shove all this. I can't shove it. I've got to physically move them because they're full. I'm going to prop it up on my little box here just so that when I have a magazine with a glare. All right, now let's readjust the lighting. There we go. It's still got a little glare, but since the magazine's so shiny, it's going to be hard to not have a glare. So I forgot where I was. Hey, Stacy. So if I miss saying good morning to you or answering a question, hey, Jean, it's not that I'm being rude. The chat goes by pretty fast when it gets busy. And so if I miss saying hi to you, then just ask again. Or if I miss answering your questions, just ask them again. And sometimes my mods will catch them and put them in caps too. So, okay, Jean, good morning. So again, I don't usually use my magazines for my collage. I use them for different things. But again, here are a few Somerset Studio art journaling magazines. And what I've done for my magazine journals, a couple different things, we've been doing them for some years now, is make some stacks here, is I take them and I usually glue 2 together. Okay. I think in some cases I might have glued 3. Yeah, I've got a couple where I've glued 3 together. Okay. Hey, Katrina. So, is that propped up too much? Yes, I need it propped up a little. When I go to play, we might fix that. But so sometimes I'll glue 3 together. And then what we've done, I'm just going to kind of review for a minute. I don't have any place to put them all. I got stacks. Okay, so I'm not sure in what particular order. This one has 2 glued together. And I've talked about that before. If you use a magazine journal or magazines, hey Teresa, if you use magazine, like glue 2 or 3 together, make sure you work back to front, front to back, some in the middle, some in the back, some in the front. Because if you just work front to back, this will happen to your spine. Because you're getting every page painted and wet, and eventually the spine will curl like that. It doesn't really matter on the inside, but just so you know, if you don't want that to happen, you need to work back, front, middle, back, like that. Don't just work front to back, which I know that's an issue with some people. They don't like to not work front to back, but if you wanted not to do that. Okay, so anyway, the magazine journals, these are just a couple, and I can't tell you which magazines they are. They might be the Somerset Blogger. They might be, I don't know which ones. But they're, and these are quite old, guys. I got to say, these are probably, I don't know, 6 years old. It was before I started uploading from YouTube, I think. I mean, from Ustream. So we've been doing these quite a long time. And what it entails, there's different things you can do. Yeah, issue for me, need to work in order. Yeah, well, then your spine will, well, Jean, you're not going to do this anyway. So, so there's a couple benefits about using magazine, whether you glue 2 together, or just use one, just take a magazine and you can start playing with your magazines. And what you can do is, first, what I usually do is white out all the text, okay? Or it can be, you can color it out with whatever color. But if you're not sure what colors you're going to want to use on your page, then just white it out. White out the text. And then use parts of the images. Use parts of the images for your color inspiration. All right, so let me get to a new one here. Okay, so like this. This one you might want to use like teal, red, scrape that paint on. Or, just use the color. Like this is obviously a lot of browns. So you can use browns as your inspiration. And you can paint it solid. You can scrape it in. You can put some paint down and baby wipe it out. So whatever texture, you all have been around the art journaling world for long enough to know all the different kinds of processes you can do in an art journal. Well, you do the same thing, but you're doing them in magazines. And again, we've been doing these for years and years. But I want to kind of try to just reinvent it again. Okay. So anyway, there's all different. You can, like here, I wrote this with just the stopper, in the ink bottle, the little stopper. I just wrote it with the stopper. But it's great for your color matching, your color blending, your color inspiration. And I do have other projects that we've done over the years on color ideas, like using design-seeds.com for color combinations. So you know, you just you can use stencils, you can use stamps. Here's one where I've just whited out the page, and they're all in different stages. I've got a stack of them here, and they're all in different stages. So here's where we did paint scraping and some washi tape. It's whatever you like to do in your art journal. You just do it in a magazine, and you use some of the images to inspire you, you know? Hey, Joanna. Hey, C. Rose. I know I'm missing some people. Good morning, everybody. Barb W. Okay, so again, here's where we use stencils. Here's some stencils and some stamps. This is my personal hand car B. Here's one with just spray paint using the colors of the imagery. And then some, I don't know if this is one where I've done it. You can use your distress inks and your ink pads to edge. Let's see. We drew a bird. This one was, we had these birds were here. So we use those birds as inspiration to draw our own bird. So you can draw your own things. You can do words. You can do quotes. Like, let's just stop for a second and let me get I'm going to try to use our positive quotations book more. Let's just pick one and let me get a pen here. Let's see, what pen do I want? Something kind of small. Pigma font. That might be too little. Let's see. I want something not too small. That's a brush tip. Hang on. Okay, maybe this one. It's got one of the hard plastic type tips on it. It's a little bigger. It's a little bigger so you can see. Okay, so anyway, this is a book of quotes. I've shown it before. It's the Book of Positive Quotations, 2nd edition. And you can get it on Amazon. I bought mine at Books A Million. Here's one. Here, this section is called The Grass is Always Greener on the Other Side of the Fence. This might be good because it's on these birds here. Here's a good one. Aesop said this. He that is discontented in one place will seldom be happy in another. So like all these birds. So let's do that. So again, I haven't warmed up my hand it got a little dark there. It's going to change depending on what thing I put up because whether light or dark items, it's going to change. And then let me also go ahead and zoom in one. Okay, I think that will be good. Hey, Dot. Anybody? Hey, Julie Topaz. So we're going to do, share. It's mixed media, but it's through using magazines. Okay, so let's just say we want to put that quote here. I'm just giving you some examples. I'm not going to go crazy on lining it and all that. Okay, so I'm just going to try to do a little bit of brush lettering here. It'll be kind of small. Let's see. It'll just take a minute. It needs to be thicker. I'm not looking at chat for just a minute because, I got to kind of concentrate a little. What's the name of that book? This one, Katrina? So there's my quote. I was going to never find that again. The Book of Positive Quotations, 2nd edition. He that's discontented in one place. Hang on. I just want to show you how you can use you know, your magazine journals for a quote book. And I should be at an angle to do this, and I'm not turning my book. You know, I should turn it, but I'm trying to keep it straight for you guys. Let's see if I can lay this down. See, it might glare a little. If I tilt, maybe if I don't prop it up quite that far. Hang on, let me find something. Let me get my little motif book. This is kind of thick, but it's not as tall as that box that I'm working on. That's just tilt it just a little. There we go. In one place. I'm just going right over the branches here so you can still read it. It's going along. I'm still a little crooked, but I just want to give you the example. Seldom. Oh, my granddaughter just messaged me. Happy and that's Aesop. So something like that, just show you the idea, right? Let me give my granddaughter a heart back. Okay. So anyway, there's just an example of something you can do in your magazine journal. Oh, you're welcome, Katrina. So again, this is 2 magazines glued together, and don't go front to back unless you care about the spine doing that. Okay, and I'll be readjusting the light all day, I'm sure. Okay, so then we got a couple other ones in no particular order. Some of these I did more. These are flow magazines, and so the flow magazines used to have tabs on them. Okay, let's readjust the light. It's always a challenge here, people. It's always a challenge. So these are flow magazines. Oh, thanks, Lynn. That I've glued, how many together? Three flow magazines together. And I haven't really worked in this one very much. I did a little bit of painting over Maryland here. Did a few things in this one. Here's a couple things we did in this one. So essentially what you do is the same kind of things that you do in your art journals, your mixed media art journals. You know, it can even be partial, you know, kind of like our reverse collage where we're reversing out. So you can get rid of things, add things in, paint things. So, you know, this is all paint here. This is the original leaf of lettuce. And there's a little bit of some kind of a leaf illustration. Everything else is something we put on here. But we based it on the colors that were underlying that page. Does that make sense? So you're using the pages as your inspiration. I don't think I have this in here to show that, but I don't think we have too much done in this one. I think this is one of our newer ones that we put together. And all I did was cover it with scrapbook paper, the thicker kind of scrapbook paper. But you want to, it's probably a good idea if you reinforce the spine with either duct tape or clear packing tape. If y'all have any questions, guys, put them in caps. Some of y'all probably haven't been around to see a lot of these. Um, here's another one. This one's got 3 in it, and it's leaning a little, but not as badly as the other. So they're just magazines glued together. What I do, hang on, get a sip of coffee. I glue the magazine, like here, let's take 2 of our samples here. And I use Eileen's tacky glue, but any kind of thick white glue. And what I do is I put it on here, and I put it on the back, and I make sure and rub it out. I put a thick coat, and I smooth it out, and I also put a thick coat on the other side. Don't just put the glue on one side and stick it together. It's not going to be enough. You need to put it on both sides and really thick, smooth it out all the way to the edge, glue it together. And if you do 2 or 3, and then leave it overnight with some books on top of it, okay, to give good pressure. And then the next day, what you can do is I would put the packing tape here, then cover it with your scrapbook. And I'm talking heavy duty, not the thin. Well, you could use the thin stuff, but make sure that you reinforce the spine again, because that thin paper is going to tear. Right. So you gotta make sure if you're going to use these, you got to give it something that's durable. This happens to be a scrapbook paper that was cardstock weight and also has a shine to it. It came that way. It was a shiny cardstock from a Halloween some years ago. What is the name of the art journal? It's Somerset Studio's art journaling magazines. And these ones that I have stacks and stacks of Somerset Studios and art journaling. And so I'm going to play with a couple of these, and I'll probably give away a couple. Now, mind you, they're from 2013. They're not new ones, but I just pulled them off my stack. So I thought we'd play in a couple and give a couple away to those of you that are here and interested, in an art journaling magazine. Now, when you get it, you don't have to paint yours up if you don't want, but just saying, they are from 2013. Okay, so it looks like we lost our focus again. I guess I'm just going to have to keep going back and forth with the focus and everything. Maybe I need to focus on this. Go. Yeah, they are eye candy. The Somerset Studios, yeah, and then these are the same. It's Stampington publication. They put out. Well, I'll tell you how many. This was in 2013. They have even more than this now, but they put out Somerset Studio. They put out the fabric one, Somerset Memories is no more. That was their scrapbook one. The Artful Blogger, Somerset Life, Jewelry, Workshop, Handbags. I don't know if Handbags is still around, or that might have just been a special publication. They do the Somerset Studio Gallery. They have a Digi magazine. They have Mingle, which is like how to do parties. And again, I'm not sure if Artist Cafe, where women create, I'm not sure how many of these are still around and how many have evolved into something else. And you can either paint them up or you can just use yours for eye candy, but I'll give away a couple of them today. And they usually have different artist profiles. Like this one has Robin Marie Smith. Our Packer Die has been in 3 or 4 different ones. Don't think hers go back to 2013, so I don't think she's in any of these. This one has Kelly Kilmer. This one has Marianne Moss. This one has Tisha Moore. So, so there's just different artist profiles. And the thing about the art journaling, these are still out. These are still made. The art journaling. They have all different kinds of question and answers. Like we asked the artist, do you have a favorite place or space for art journaling? Well, Mindy Lacefield answered, I journal in my studio mostly, but I've also been known to take my journal on a few non-messy tools with me on trips. I once set up a makeshift studio in my hotel room. So you see, they answer the questions. So all the artists that are featured are asked these questions. They give you tips. They give you all kinds of little tips, tricks, and all kinds of information. We ask the artist, do you have to be in a certain mood to art journal, or can you create no matter your mood? So all the different artists that are in this publication, in this issue, answer that question. So there's just all different kinds of things like that in them all. They're all awesome. And again, I've collected them up. They're sitting on my shelf, you know. Hey, Eileen. Yeah, we're doing, well, we're not going to do any failures. Well, if we do a failure, we're going to learn from it, Eileen. So anyway, so we'll give a couple away and play in a couple. Here's, so this one. So again, here's where we've scraped paint in the background, and you can do whatever you want on top. You can just paint them out. Here's what we've inked all of these. These all have distress inks, all the inks around them. So you just take the pages, use the colors that are in them, and play on them. And you can scribble, you can paint, you can, everything that you do in regular art journals, okay? The other question I get is, do I glue 2 pages in my magazines together? No, I do not glue any pages in any of my projects together. Now, of course, I glued the books together. I glued multiple magazines together, but I do not glue the pages together. I found that by the time you paint on both sides, and it lays very flat. These pages are not wrinkled. They're not wrinkly. They're not buckly. Now, these are not fashion magazines. Fashion magazines are the thinnest magazines that they are, and they're the cheapest too, right? So they could probably buckle, but even so, I would not. I don't glue in pages together. What else I'm trying to think of everything I can tell you. Here's some more. Okay, so here's where I overdid some saturation. This page started tearing, so I just taped it in, you know. So you can see that you can just do whatever. You can just do the same things that you do in all your art journaling magazines. Here's some little doodles. You can doodle, you can put quotes, and they don't have to be this messy. You can do them neater if you like. You can have a flat color of paint. I just like them this way, right? So let's see here. Go back here. Trying to find some different colors. So magazine journals, here's one with more of a flat color. So it's just got like a yellow ochre in the base. But what these kind of things help you do, and again, I just use craft paint. I just use my look, I think I pulled the exact color out. Look. I pulled the same color out I used. It just happened to be the one I pulled. But you can use just your craft paint, and I use matte craft paint. If I glue anything in, I use golden matte medium, or just use a glue stick. You don't have to go too professional with a magazine journal. You could just use a glue stick, or your Eileen's tacky glue, school glue, whatever. I do recommend if you glue something down with this white school glue or any kind of white glue, that when you use it, let me put it on and flatten it all out. Don't just put a big bead of glue on, because what will happen is there'll be a big bead of glue showing through. You need to smooth your glues out and then glue them down so that you don't get lumpy, bumpy glue downs, right? You can also just smooth them out with a gift card, you know. If you're just going to use a glue stick, my favorite's the Yoo-Hoo's the only glue stick I use. I mean, I'd use something else in an emergency, but these are the only glue sticks I like. Let's see. Here's another one. And again, this one has got inked edges. So I know that a lot of this is probably self-explanatory. You can use your stamps, word stamps. Here's one that's more of a flat page with just some ink around the edge. Here's one not done. So some of these aren't done. Here's a pink page. So use the colors in the piece for your inspiration. a lot of people have, well, I don't know what colors to use. I don't know. I don't understand what good color combinations. Well, other than design-seeds.com, which will give you tons and tons of color combinations, pick the colors out of the magazine. I'd love to see how you put things on the page so your composition looks so. Well, in Tammy, in the case of these magazine journals, I'm reverse collaging. I'm whiting out things. These things, all this that you see is already there. This is the magazine pages. If you want to see how I do collage, I've got tons and tons of videos on my abandoned book collage videos, and also just straight collage in blank pages in my blank Dilution journals. I have, I think, 4 or 5 of those I'm working on periodically. I mean, I've been concentrating more on the abandoned book, altered book collages, but I have tons of videos. Just look at my playlist and you'll see. I have, I think I have like 960 videos now that I've put on, that I've uploaded over 5 years. And then, of course, before that, 3 or 4 years on Ustream, those videos are gone. I mean, I have them on an external hard drive, but they're not on YouTube. So, let's see. Let's find another one. All right. So here's a double page spread. I haven't done. Well, I did glue this little face down, but you know, I do different kind of examples for us throughout the years. But like this one, look at all the red. So if you want to paint it out red or add some green or cream, you know, here's a pink, flat pink page. Yeah, I do. I have a collage playlist. Thank you, Jean. Here's one where it's a messy, you know, using ochres and browns. There's some scribbles on there, and then probably some inked edges. So you can do, here's a dark flat one. Here's one where we did stenciling. So most of my magazine journals I use for samples. I have a couple that, you know, I've really worked in. Yeah, it is, because you're using the magazine images that are already laid out for you. There's just so many good practice elements in playing in a magazine. There's just so much you can learn about what you like, the materials you like. Do I like to ink? Do I like messy? Do I like neat? Do I like to add collage? Do I like to write? Do I like to journal? You know, you can do so many things in it. And again, these are quite old. I mean, they're a few years old. See, like this one, other than this little piece of scrapbook paper right here, all this was already on here. So yes, Jean, you're right. It's a good way to, and you can, here's the title. This is a title of the article. The unexpected gift was I left that. So you can leave you can leave different bits. I added some little pieces of scrapbook paper here, and then I haven't really finished them. I don't ever really feel like I have to finish anything. I never feel like I have to finish anything, because part of the fun and creativity of it is the doing of it. You know, it's the journey. I have a huge mural in my mural room next door. Enjoy the journey. It's the journey, not the destination, and big banner in there. So, you know, a lot of it is just fun to play with. Okay, so there's this one. If y'all have any questions on them, just, you know, I'm going to keep rolling here. I think this one, did I say this was 2 Flow? Yeah, this is 2 Flow magazines together. It can be any kind of magazine you want. But I would recommend ones with lots of images, or lots of color, because that's going to be your inspiration, the color, the pictures. This one is just 2 flows duct taped together. Okay, that's just duct tape there. Here's another one. Let's see what's in this one. This one has 3 in it. I think this one is kind of new too. I think this is a fairly new one. And I think maybe we'll just play in this one for a minute just to show you how we can do some things in it. So like here's a blue page. Okay, let's kind of bend the, okay. We'll work in this one in a minute. Then we have our mini magazine playground, and it's MMICPP, mini magazine idea collecting something playground, prompt playground. There we go. I had to think for a minute. We hashtagged it idea collecting mini magazine idea collecting prompt playground. And what this one is magazines cut in half. So we did this, I don't know I don't even know when we did this, a couple years ago. It's upside down. So I'm not sure. Well, we did it at the beginning of 2017. So a year and a half, 2 years ago, year and a half, maybe. And this is 2 art journal magazines or blogger, one of the Somerset magazines. It's 2 of them cut in half. So we cut 2 in half, and so that makes 4 pieces, 4 of them glued together. Now, let me say this. It is a little tricky to cut a magazine in half, even with a metal ruler and an X-Acto knife. Never use a plastic ruler to try to cut cut anything really with an X-Acto knife. Use a metal ruler. That being said, mine is kind of messy and not as perfect as it could be if you took it to Staples and had them cut it in half for you for $1 or $2. So they will cut a magazine in half for you for like $2. I would totally recommend taking your 2 magazines and having them cut them in half. They are fun. They are fun to do. Thank you, Julie. Yeah, MMICPP. Mini Magazine Idea Collecting Prompt Playground is what we named it. So anyway, take them to Staples or your Office Max or wherever and have them cut their magazines in half. And then you just glue them together the same way that you glue the large ones together. And then I wrapped it, and then I put duct tape, duct tape or packing tape under there, and then covered the whole thing with a pretty scrapbook paper. And it's, they get messy, right? I kept the letter from the editor right there. That was in the magazine. I left that there. Here's a little one of my little stamped Mona's. Not Mona. What's her? Vermeer. No, it's anyway, it's a painting. And so I put that little there. I've just glued some things here. And so you can just play in this. Now, what I did one time, I did go through here when I first did this, and I whited out the whole text. It took me half a day. I don't know how long it took. It took a few hours, 3, 4, I don't remember now. But I went through and whited out all the text. And then, so here we put some different things about combination. This is just notes, lists, prompts, ideas, quotes, maps, myths, definitions, who, what, where, when, why, and how are our Society of Idea Collectors questions. I stamped those out with a stamp. And so we've done here's a view from a scribe's mind. So I put that in here. And then here again, this is all paint. And pretty much in this book, I've done all the painting is done with finger painting, other than the whiting out of the text, like here. See how I whited the text out? That's done with paintbrush. But all the painting here, this is all done with finger painting. I get out my paints and we just play. We do finger painting. So again, it's just so much fun to use the colors and images in the half magazines to play with. So I'll just do a little flip here. You can kind of see. This one doesn't have anything done, but you can leave some of the words. Leave some of the words. Leave some of the text. Here's one we've altered with pinks and blues and just finger painting. Painting all in with, went around these little cups with the white Signo or what, some kind of, or Posca. I don't remember which. Did all those little triangles or doodles, all those little white triangles, those are all doodles. So there's just so much fun you can have in these. And it's just so freeing because you don't overthink it. You just play. That's why it's called a playground. So I'm just going to flip through it just so you can maybe get some ideas. And you can do this in any size, right? Any size magazine. This one started coming apart a little, so I just put some packing tape. You know, some of them, you might lose a page or two because it is a magazine, right? So depending on how much paint you put on it, how rough you are with them. Here's one we did on Halloween, or, well, Halloween-esque. I don't know if we did it on Halloween. We had a skull stamp and, little pumpkin stickers. So are y'all just enthralled and you're not speaking? The chat's really not moving very much. Are y'all still with the tour? Do I need to do a test in chat? Am we moving? You can do your own. This was with a Sharpie. This was just with the Sharpie, just drawing, doodling. There's one just blanked out. Okay. All right. Just checking. We did this one with this. Try to think of all the different kind of sea ideas: octopus, squid, crab, sea turtle, clownfish, jellyfish, seahorse, shrimp, lionfish, lobster, puffer, mermaid, Poseidon, pirate. We call this page Go Fish. And some of them have quotes. You could leave the quotes there, paint around them, but you can see how fun it is to play. Oh, thanks, Vanessa. Vanessa's watching full screen. Hi, Eva. Lisa. Hey, Lisa. How you doing? Good to see you. I miss you. We're just doing some magazine journaling play and ideas today. This is just all paint scraped on there. Isn't it look fun though? Look, scrape, take your palette knife and scrape it, or put it on with your fingers and take a baby wipe and smooth it out. You like to see these magazines again? Yeah. So here we did little ladybugs all over it. And so the thing about these is they're just freeing. Here you see all the different colors of paint. And again, it's all just craft paint. I don't varnish any of these. They're just craft paint. And as long as you use matte craft paint, it shouldn't, none of your pages should stick together. Here we did, we used a little water bottle cap, I think, to do a stamping with. Am I zoomed in enough for y'all to see? Maybe I should click in one more. I don't know. I'm hoping y'all can see fairly well. There we go. So like this, life itself is a most wonderful fairy tale. That was already on there, so just left that. This is just drawn with the bottle stopper. Here's half of a girl that's left from the top. So this is the second half of the magazine. So it just looks like she's walking on air, sort of, And then all this is just painted in. Here's some washi tape. So they're just fun, freeing art journals. We painted this, stamped around, chill. Did some drippage. The flower, this was already here. See these flowers here with the pink, grays, those are my color inspiration. We were practicing a little bit of the brush lettering there. We pull these out every now and then to play in, get some ideas, and just mess around. Playground. Go back to the playground every now and then. Hey, Elaine, Vanessa, I'm sure Wendy. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Good morning. Oh, I need to click in my chat there. So again, this little bit was here with the flowers, and there were some scissors there. And then all the rest of this, we finger painted, all finger painted in. Maybe we'll do one of those. But you can just use the color inspiration from the magazines. Tesla. We did Tesla. A little bit more brush lettering and lettering. This one, we just did some little painty bits. We painted in some little cattails in there. There was a bird on some water, so just flicked in some cattails. So you can do whatever you want, you know. Oh, here are the enablers. There's Eileen, Janet. Who did we have? Eileen, Janet, and who else? Was it Terry? Anyway, bye, bye, bye. The little dog's going, no. They're the enablers. They're lost at sea. The enablers are lost at sea. Oh, thanks, Eve. It makes you smile. Good. So, yeah, it's just fun to... we did a little bit more brush lettering there on top of the paint. More finger painting. More paint scraping, finger paint scraping, and then some. We just did some branches here because the bird was already there. So we used this to make the rest. It's kind of chill. It's kind of chill just to go through it. Hi, Kimberly. This one we did some little, this little girl here, she was already on the page. So we made our own little figures there. Then here's where some of the magazines are glued together, or I doubled up the, what do you call it, packing tape in there to make it extra sturdy on the where they're connected. Because they are magazines, guys. They can fall apart. If you're, here's more hand, finger painting. You might have to glue some extra glue, tape some extra, do some extra taping. But, you can leave some titles as your inspiration. Hi, Margaret. Hey, Mark. How you doing? Mark, did you have your first day on the desk? How was it? Here's Terry Trouble. She invented this pile of projects. Did you have your first day at the desk, Mark? How was it? How you doing with it? Hey, Sammy. We're just going through magazine journals. Been here about close to an hour, I guess. We're going to play in them, and I'm going to give away a couple of my older art journaling magazines. So, this one called The Meeting of the Beards, because they're the bearded irises. Yep, it was, oh, good. Well, congratulations again on your promotion. So, yeah, it's just here we drew these cactus, and I showed how easy it is to do this. It's not hard to do doodles and little things. It's, if you saw how quickly we did this, I think we even finger painted most of it, and then just outlined things with white, either Posca or a gel pen. Oh, you'll get it, Mark. You'll get it. We have confidence in you. Again, there was a bug here and a bud here, and the rest, this is all paint. but we use the inspiration, the colors in the flower and the bug, and just smeared paint on there. And then that's brush lettering. What is the name of the glue? The glue to glue the magazines together, I just use Eileen's Tacky, but I use a lot of it. I put it on very thick on both sides of two different magazines, the top of one and the bottom of the other, and I smear it on one, smear it on the other, really thick, and then set them together and put books on top of it overnight. Hey, Janet. I'm going to have to go get me some juice, guys. My voice is starting to go. Again, here's some, just putting on some paint. Just did some little bits with some white to make some clouds. We hand drew these little wheat things. And the bird was there. And then there's some kind of a church, it looks like, that was there in the background. We're just kind of going through the magazine journals, Janet. They're different Somerset Studio publications. I don't know if it's the Blogger, I said earlier the names of a lot of them. I've cut them up, so I don't know which ones are which. So, yeah. But they're Somerset Studio. We're going to play today in an art journaling one. I usually collect these, but I have piles of them. So I thought we'd play in one. I'd give one or two away. These are from 2013. So you're going to, if you've already got them, then don't be in the giveaway. Palm reading, because we did palms, little palm reader right there, so we called this one palm reading. Just did a little bit of calligraphy. This one right here is 2 magazines cut up. So there's 4 sections. Again, I would stress, or I would recommend that you take it to your office supply or Staples or whatever and have them cut the magazines in half for you, because it does take a long time. You got to be careful you're not cutting yourself. So I'm just doing a flip so you can see where I've whited out all the text, so it's not distracting. This would be a good one to do a sample on. Let me take my society number off. Maybe we'll do this one. But I have some fashion magazine things. I want to show you something that I've done sort of a little bit for myself, but I haven't done a project on it. So I'm going to kind of show that today. It's all about reinventing the magazine journal, or magazines into journals, which we've done these for some years. But, it's good to pull them back out every now and then. And I do get people asking me, when are you going to work in the magazines again? So here's, we just did a go with the flow again. It's all just painted, finger painted in. Oh, are you tired, Janet? Did you not sleep well? You slept in this morning. Oh, well, good for you. Terry's not here, as far as I know. Terry messaged me or emailed me and said that she's overdid it the last couple days. So she's probably not going to be here. She'll be in late too. So you're not the only one, Janet. Here this was called Making Connections. So much to share. I just did my own little lines here. Like you can do make your own lists. You can use these for whatever. If you've done any kind of magazine journaling over the year, art journaling over the years, then, you know how to do backgrounds, scraping, painting. You know how to do all that stuff. Now you're just going to do it in a magazine. Oh, good. You slept great. Good. Like here, this one might be a good one too. This one says, hello, love. I like the colors. Maybe this will be a good one to do an example. That's one of your favorite projects, Lisa. They're just, they're so freeing because you can just do whatever, And you can see how many pages. Look how much we've got in just this is 2 magazines cut in half and glued together. And we've done tons of the large magazines over the years. And I think this one we did about 1.5 years ago. Bloom Where You're Planted. Hey, Anne. Anne Alba, welcome. If you're new, welcome. Again, here's a smeary paint. This might be a good one to do too. I'm just kind of looking at the colors, trying to see what will make a good example. So you use the colors in the magazines for your inspiration. Like this, see? This one we did lightning bolts. Birds on a wire, lightning. This one says stand. And we did little the flowers were already there. We put some stems on them. This is a little post-it note cat there. So you can add things, you know, do whatever you want. Here's some scribbles. Did like moss with the stopper in the ink bottle. Just the words were already there, so we kind of left that. Hi, Crystal. Hi, Dawn, Sharon, Melissa. I know I'm missing some people. Good morning, everybody coming in. Thanks for being here. Here's a stamps. Might have been stencil. I want a stamp or stencil. Just smear it on some paint. You can do as much or as little as you want. Again, more just hand smashing. I'm going to do this here in a minute, show you. It's really fun. But you got it. Now, Jean probably wouldn't have done this years ago. She might do it now. She still doesn't probably like to get her hands that messy, but Jean's all into the watercolor these days. So just going to flip till the end here, just so you can see how much. You can see how much you can get in. And then there's our questions: who, what, where, what, and how, when, and how. So, yeah. Again, take it and get it cut. Okay, before we get started, I am going to have to go get some juice. The other thing I'm going to show you is I started out showing you an old-fashioned magazine because I want to show you how to do something in that too. And then we're going to work in this one too. Well, instead of working in this one, I'll just work in this one because it's basically the same thing rather than working in the big one. All right, let me go run and get some juice. Where's Phil? Let's put Phil there. It's hump day, people. All right, let me go get some juice. I'll be right back. Okay. I have some new books and things I haven't shown yet. I don't think I've shown this. Mapping the Universe. I'll show that sometime. And I bought this a while back, and I haven't really done a flip through this. This is a really good one. Keys to Drawing with Imagination. Lots of good ideas in that. Maybe we can do flips of that eventually. Okay, so I got my juice. Hey, art journal guy. All right. Let's block the sun and readjust the light. Sun's beating down in here. And we'll do a couple of pages, something in this. Let me turn this up this way. Get the little clasp out of it. And readjust the lighting. There we go. It just changes. Picola found a what do you call it? A update for the settings on the camera settings for this camera. It didn't do anything. I mean, yeah, whatever. She, bless her, she tried to find us a solution, but okay. Why is that a little? Maybe it's just the magazine. Bye, Cynthia. All right, so I want to show a little bit of this, and then I'm going to go back to the fashion magazine, which, where is that? Where's I put it? It's on the floor. It's under here. Oh, here it is. I want to go back to the fashion magazine to show you some things in that. That I want to test. I want to do a new magazine test. So that'll go there. Okay, so let's do a couple of these pages. Do I want this one? Do I want this one? Let's do this one. Let's do the red and blue one. Let me fix my book here. So I'm propped up just to get the glare off. If you have any questions, put it in caps. Okay. So we'll get out a little coffee lid palette. And I'll just start with red, white, and blue. I mean, because that's the colors here, right? So let's get some red. This one's empty. I gotta get a new. It's about out. Where's my other reds here? I'm gonna dig out. Okay, Tuscan red will work. All right, so I'm going to put out some red, white, and I have tons of whites. This one's just about out. What I used to do is when they'd get about down to here, I would put a big W on top to know that it was a wash. And then, so when it got down to about an 8, I'd fill it up with water and shake it up, put a big W on top that it's a wash. Because if you don't do that, you'll come to open a paint someday. You'll open it up and go to shake it out, and it's going to go everywhere because it's all water. But what I used to do with it is then I'd save these out in the garage with water in them. And then I'd go and do the driveway art. And I'd roll out huge pieces of paper, and we'd splatter all of these out. Whatever we had left in these watered down paints, I need to pull out my drawing on right side of the brain because I noticed. Yes. Yeah. The drawing on the right side of the brain, that's the other book that we would use along with, or I would recommend using, along with and I showed it at the beginning. When I go back to the magazine, fashion magazine, I'll show this again, how you can practice your shapes and things with a magazine, with a fashion magazine, which, by the way, my fashion magazine here is a couple years old, and I've dug out of it, and we've used it and stuff, the one we're going to do some projects in today. But the new ones are coming out, should be out maybe now, the big thick ones for $5 or $6. So I usually buy one of those every couple years because I don't buy many fashion magazines because I don't use fashion girls in my collage. But the fashion magazines are good to show you how to do shapes and proportion and perspective. So I'll show you that when we go over to the magazine, the fashion magazine. Driveway art, you can see it from space. Probably, Julie. So we would throw out all those watered down acrylic paint leftovers and make giant rolls of abstract paint and stuff. And then I'd cut them up and I gave them all. I think I gave all but one or maybe 2 sheets that are around here somewhere. Gave them all away. You can use spray paints. You can use anything. And, it's just fun. And we roll it out on the driveway. But it's a big setup. It's a big thing to set up a driveway outdoor art video. Okay. Oh, blue. What blue do I want? Do I just want? And we could use, ink splats and splots and, you know, whatever you want on these. I'm just going to do our acrylic paint. I'm just going to go with primary blue. All right, so there's some red, white, and blue. And we could lighten up the blue, like we could put the white and the blue together. Now, again, I'm going to do all this. Wait, one thing I did forget is my wax paper. Hang on. You want to put wax paper between your pages or you will glue them together. I might have thrown my other wax paper away when I cleaned off my color book shelves. So let's get... And a couple baby wipes so I can keep my hands fairly clean. And you can use the baby wipes to smear paint too. All right, so you want to put that between your pages just so you don't glue them together. Because I've done it. Okay, just to protect yourself from being glued together. Okay, so I'm going to take the blue and the white. See, I'm just going to do everything with finger painting to start with. See? Wow, Jean. Might pick up a little red. Put some more red down here. Whoop. Some red there. Go back to the blue. And see, I'm not even cleaning my hands off in between. Just some little red hearts along there. That might be fun to put. Let's get the edge there. So I'm getting all the white. And then I'm just going to kind of go in here and see where I want to cover anything up. Put a little bit more blue and white down here. Maybe leave a little bit of the white showing. Something like that. All right, so you see how quick that was? See how quick that was? All right, let's dry it. And then we'll maybe put some red and some little hearts here. This is like the British. See the little British flag? Okay. Let's dry. Okay, so now if I don't go to the edge anymore, I can take out the wax paper. It's just when you paint up to the edge. And there's a little, who is she, right there. Yeah, it does make you feel like a kid again. That's pretty dry. So you can take, you know, and just maybe make some little hearts, some little different shaped hearts. That's kind of dark there. It's kind of in the blue. Can't really see them too much. Put a heart or two in there. One there. Let's make it a little bigger because my finger's a little bigger. You know. Then if you want to paint some, let's just get my brush wet here. And paint in some little floaty hearts out here. See, it's just all about fun. It's all about just having some fun. That's why we call it the playground. And there's hearts along there. Maybe we could put a couple more here. It might be a little dark there on the top, but you can still see them. You could do, let's put some, maybe make some light blue splatters. Are you going to leave? Okay. 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 See you later. And so we'll get the little bit of white paint watered down, maybe do some splatters. Maybe it's snowing. Something like that. See, you just do whatever. Maybe she needs some nice big white buttons going down her coat. Oh, thanks, Lynn. So, you know, that you can just play like this. It's good to practice your techniques. You've come a long way, Jean. Hi, Stacy, Margaret, Melissa. It's rain in England. Well, we made it snow today, Joanna. So you get the idea. I don't need to really continue on. You can, you know, see what I'm talking about. How to just play in your journals. Okay. Now, the other thing though, I have all this paint left over. So you can do a couple things. You could scrape it off in here. Let me clean my brush. But then you can have your your desk journals. Now, I've shown my desk journals. If y'all want to see the desk journals again, let me know. I can show those too. But my current desk journal is this black one. So I got all kinds of things going on in here. Just little, you know, just leftover collage bits, leftover, you know, this is where I'm scraping my paint now. So let's see if I want to put, here's some blue. I'm going to put some of the blue. Not the right blue. What color do I want? Okay, here's a place where I can put some red. So this is where you'll just take a scraper, right? And if you have leftover collage bits, paint and or collage bits, and use it up. Use it up in your desk journal. This just happens to be the one I have at the moment. But I've got tons of those, my little leather ones, my little Barnes & Noble leather journals that I've used over the years for desk journals. And this is what I mean by desk journal. You just use up leftovers. Okay, scrape it on there, let it dry, and, you know, of course, use a heat gun, clean it off. Dry it off before you go to another page. Hey, Joetta. Hey, Front Door Photography. Purdy Cat. Hey, Purdy. So anyway, then see, now you've got to start for another page in another journal. Okay. All right, let me get another baby wipe here and clean my hands off. You go through the baby wipes in this studio because we use them for so many different projects. All right, so back to the fashion magazine that we started with. My polish is a light color today. I put on, where is it? It's kind of got a little glitter in it. Color Last. I don't know the color. I can't see the color. But it's got a little bit of twinkle, pink twinkle. I got to fix the lighting again. Hang on. All right, so back to the fashion magazine. Everything just goes on the floor behind me until we're ready. Okay, so now I do need to prop this up a little more because of the glare of the shine of a fashion magazine. Is shiny. So this one's kind of old, and I've used it for different projects. So what I was showing at the beginning, remember, guys, put it in caps if you're talking to me. I don't want to miss questions if you're asking me something. I don't want you to think I'm rude. Hey, Limo, Norma. I'm sure I'm missing some people. So these are some of the things that I have in this fashion magazine where we've done, and again, if y'all want to see more of these kind of things, of how to learn your proportions, your shapes, your perspective, all you need is a Sharpie marker, a fashion magazine, and some tracing paper. And you can, because I think so, I'll give you a couple examples here while we're here. And as I go through this, you're going to see lots of places where I've got Sharpie on the actual magazine pages. Let's see. Do I have one in here? I'll just have to go inside here. Let Let me get a Sharpie that makes sure I got a good Sharpie that's working here. Might need to get a new one out. Let's see. Do I have one handy that's new? Let's see. Ah, here we go. New Sharpie. And what you can do to practice your drawing skills, and the reason I say fashion magazine because it's full of people, right? And a lot of times you don't realize how big things are, how the perspective of things. Oh, good. I got a piece of tracing paper here. So you can do a couple different things. Take a sip of juice. Take your Sharpie over a piece of tracing paper and just like trace your shapes. There's her hair there. There's her ear. But do shapes. Don't necessarily, like here's her hand here. Don't necessarily try to copy. Of course, you could do that too. Don't necessarily try to copy it exactly. The idea is to get the shapes here. There's her shoulder right there, her shoulder right there. And I'm out of room here, but I just want y'all to get the idea. A lot of people, when they're drawing, trying to draw realistically, I'm losing my voice, don't realize how big things are when they're in perspective. For instance, now pull this away and look. Her hand is as big as her face. Usually when people draw things, they don't realize it. But if you take a fashion magazine, get you one of the big, thick ones, get you one of the big, thick magazines and a Sharpie marker. Even if you don't have tracing paper, you can just do it right on it. It's just easier to see when you take it away. It's easier to see when you take it away how the shapes are. I'm sorry about my voice this morning, guys. I don't know. I sleep with a fan on me, so. But this will help you realize things. And it's the same thing, you know, if you just want to practice, you know, actually on the magazine itself. You know, you can, another thing you can do, let's get a bigger face. Okay, well, that's half a face. Let's see, I need a whole face. This magazine's pretty tore up because I've used it so much for these kind of things. Let's see. Ah, here we go. I saw one. Yeah. Okay. Trace, it would be better if her whole head was here because that's one of the mistakes people make when they're doing a face. They don't realize that the eyes are like halfway down. So when they draw things, they'll draw like here's the head. They'll put their eyes up here and the nose and the mouth, and they have a little tiny bitty forehead. Unless you're looking up in the air so that your forehead is back, that's not how faces are. So again, like her forehead is way up here. Probably about, there's her hair, even higher, I think. So you can see where the top of her head is. So if you draw, and you don't have to necessarily you're not trying to do a portrait here. You're trying to get perspective, shapes, size. And so even if you just do a little bit of drawing, just so that you get the proportions, like look how big her nose and mouth are. They're bigger than her eyes. You see? So you start to realize things when you're doing the white spiders, the difference of snow and stars. No, not really, Joette, except sometimes when I do stars, I go back. After I've splattered on the white, I'll go back and add more specific stars and planets and shooting stars and things like that, where I don't do that with snow. So you see how big her nose and mouth are? You may not know that just by looking at her because you see makeup, right? There's shading and eyeshadow and all kinds of things going on. So her eyes don't look that small, but that's the actual size of her eyes, you see? And again, I'm not being neat here. I'm just, showing. Yeah. And so I would tell anybody, if you want to learn perspective, shape, all, and just the way things really are, then I would get you some tracing paper, a black Sharpie marker, and a big fashion magazine. And if the first book I would recommend on learning how to draw is Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain. Let me see where my copy is. Where's my copy? There's the natural way to draw. Where's my copy? Hang on, guys. My copy is very old and falling apart. I can't even find it right now on my art shelf. Yeah, I'm not seeing it right now. Ah, here it is. And then I've not used this yet, but one of the girls gifted me the workbook. I never had the workbook. This is kind of a newer thing. Betty Edwards is the author. Her workbook, you can buy the workbook and the book together, but I haven't used the workbook. The workbook came out in 2002. And my copy of Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain, which is held together with a rubber band, which just broke, it's falling apart. 1979. So, yeah, my book's kind of old. But I want to show you the idea behind Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain is learning how to draw what you, and we're getting off on a sidebar here. I wasn't going to get off on drawing today. I was going to try to stick with magazine journals, but, we rabbit trail around here. Okay, why? Oh, my camera's crooked here. Hang on. There we go. And the lighting went. Always adjusting here. So, the thing about Drawing the Right Side of the Brain is even if you don't prescribe to the notion that one side of your brain's for logic, the other side is for creative, whatever, that's beside the point as far as this is concerned. Yeah, a bunch of bunnies. No, we're wing nuts around here, Melissa. We're a bunch of wing nuts. So let me show you a couple examples from the book. I'll hold it over here so I can cover it up. Okay, so I can show you. So after taking her course, people went from drawing. All right, here's a good example. So here's the way that this person drew in September. Okay, trying to draw from a real person. Looking at life drawing. And so this was their first attempt in September 2nd, 1973. After, let me see how long, September, October, 2 months. 2 months later, that's how they drew. All my hours are spent doing this, Stacy. Okay, here's another one from September to November. Okay, so here's the first initial try. Okay. Yeah. You bought the book recently? Good, Louise. This is the book I would recommend for anybody trying to draw reality. Because most of the time we draw what we think we see. Like, you've seen how kids draw houses with just a little triangle roof and a little square building and a little door. Well, that's what they think a house looks like. Yeah. Okay, so here's another one. This is from April to May. So this was 2 months. April, May, and 1 month. So from this to that. Yeah, it's a great book. And like I said, you can buy the combo now, the workbook and the book together. We've gone through these many times. Okay, here's a couple more. So this one is from August to September. So here's August to September. And then here's the last one I'll show you. This one is from February to a year later. So here's what they started out with. A year later, but did you know what I said? A year, not the next day. Not, oh, I read the book one time and now I can draw like this. A year of practice and doing here. Okay. You can't just read a book and think you're going to draw better. You know, you'll learn the techniques and things, but you're not going to, it's not going to be the same as practice. So that's what I said. One of the things I would recommend this book and get you a fashion magazine to do this just for your own so you see the perspective. People just don't realize. They don't realize that, oh, her nose and mouth is as big as her eyes. And I understand, I'm not talking about the whimsy stuff, you know, where we exaggerate, you know, like Jasmine Beckett Griffith and her big eye girls. I'm not talking about that. Okay. You can exaggerate anything. I'm talking about what things really look like. So anyway, take a magazine and do that. So that you, and perspective is another one. I don't know if I can find, okay, here's a good one. I don't think I'm out of paper here. I don't know where any, do I have any tracing paper in the house? I don't know. Let me look around here. Let's see, I think I have a big something. Let me look. So I can do a couple more examples here since we're already doing them. Don't fall. Don't go. I'll lay it down there. Don't go anywhere. Hang on. Here we go. Another big sheet. Hang on. Let me get a big sheet here. Hang on, guys. It's over here in my stacks of big sketch paper. All right. Let me cut this down, tear this down here. It's a big sheet. Let me cut it. Okay. All right. So, for instance, I don't know if this is interesting for you guys, but we're on the rabbit trail now, so we're gonna roll with it. Okay, so here is her face, and again, I'm not trying to do it neat or anything. I just want y'all to kind of see here. Let's do a face for her. There's the eyes, the nose, and the lips. Okay, so here's her hand. So I'm going to do these shapes here, just so you can see. Here's her shoulder. So elbows, knees, shoulders, and I can't see it because it's black paper. Her her arms coming this way. It's her hand. She has a big chunky sweater on. Okay, here's her butt. Here's her calf. Her thigh. Here's her knee. So I'm just doing shapes here because I want to make a point. I want you to see how big her feet are when the foot's coming at you. This foot is closer to you, right? So I want you to see how big her foot is. Now, you know, in a magazine like this, it's like, oh, yeah, that's cool. When you take it away from the magazine, look at that. Well, let me get a white piece of paper behind me. Hang on. White piece of paper. White piece of paper. Let's see. Here's some of my notes. I'll just go to the back side of that. Okay. Okay, there. You see? See how big her feet are? Look how big her feet are. So you don't notice these kind of things when you just go to draw, unless you're aware of it. If you're aware of the shapes, if you're aware of the perspective. So this is what it means to draw what is actually there. It's drawing what you see, not what you think you see. Because if you just drew her, think what you thought, you might just draw her feet, you know, little. So this is a kind of the reason why I suggest a fashion magazine and a Sharpie and some tracing paper. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to do one more something here. So a lot of it has to do with perspective that you don't realize until you go to do something like this. And shapes. Okay, let's do this face, just so you can see how big her head really is. Okay, so even with her hair there, even with a little bit of fluff for her hair, part's still up here, right? So here's her head. And then, of course, she has a big coat on here, but... And I'm not trying to be neat. I'm just kind of trying to show you. Let's go around her eyes here. Actually, doesn't even go up that much. Okay, here's her eyebrows. Okay, here's her nostrils. Okay. Ready? All right, so this is what she looks like in the magazine with all her beautiful makeup. You like these tips, guys? Good. All right, so here's what she looks like with all her beautiful makeup, right? Let's see how she really looks without her makeup. All right, so here she is with her makeup. Can y'all see that okay? All right, this is what she really looks like. That's her eyes with no makeup. That's the outside of her eyes. That's how big her eyes actually are. The shape of her eye. Now we can add her eyelid. Let's see here. Let's go back. Let's add her eyelid. So her eyelids are even kind of tiny. Okay. Well, I went on the outside edge of her nose. I'm just doing the lines. Okay, so there we go. See, you would not think that that's the shape of her face and the shape of her features. Of course, I didn't do right under her nose there, but. Okay. So my point is, when you're drawing her, you could draw all the eyeshadow and stuff too, but just so you learn the size of things, take a Sharpie and trace them out. And look how much of her hair is up on her, here's her, her head up here, but look how much, half of the shape of her face. Let's go all the way around. Look. Here's the shape of her face on the top of her head. Look where her eyes go. Look where the bottom of her nose and the middle of her mouth. You see? And she's really not looking down or up. She's pretty much looking, maybe tilting her head just slightly down. But, that's the shape. That's the actual size. Okay. So anyway, I just want y'all to kind of, because I brought out the fashion magazine, although that's not what we're going to do today. I just, since I had all these papers inside the fashion magazine. Okay. So my idea today is to take the fashion magazine, because everybody loves their fashion magazines, and how we can play with that. Let's prop it back up so the glare. The lines used to draw the face, nose, let's work on it. Do the lines used to draw the eye? Yeah, that is the lines that people, that are in school books, if you will. When they tell you to. Are you talking about the lines, Eileen? That they show you to do this for. Is that what you're talking about? Those kind of lines? Get you a fashion magazine and see. Wow, terrible. Yeah, get your fashion magazine and test it, Eileen. You're welcome. Okay, so my idea for the magazine, now this one again is really tore up. And I didn't do too many of these because I wanted to do them with you guys. So I'm going to do this, kind of learn this along with you. But there's been times when I've done collage. Here's probably a good example. Maybe, no. Okay. See, we've got all different kinds of torn things and drawn things. This one's old. I'm going to buy me a new one. I think the new ones are out. Okay, so for instance, let's see here. I'll find a good example. There's been times when I've cut torn things out of collage. I'm trying to do it now, and I usually don't have to try to do it because it usually just happens. Where when you tear something out of a magazine and then you see what's behind it, okay, and it makes a whole new picture. All right. So now instead of her standing on the beach, look, she's standing in a wheat field. So what I want to do is I want to go through this whole book. And on the first pass, I'm going to take my glue stick. Now, if you're going to work on these if you're going to work in these pages later, I would recommend going in and fully gluing down. I'm not going to fully glue everything down now. I'm just going to kind of tack it down, because I want to get through the whole book, right? So now those 2 pages have become one. Okay. So if I want to, let's try another one here. Let's do, how about we try a half a page? All right, see, now look. You see what I'm talking about? So now you could glue this to this. And if you have something left over, let's just go to the next page and see what happens if we glue that, on her. Okay. So we're reinventing the magazine. That might be too much there. It's going to overhang. And again, right now what I'm doing is just tacking it down. But if you're going to actually work on these pages, you want to glue them better later. All right. Okay, so let's see and I just kind of want to go through and I wanted to do the whole magazine, but we'll see. Okay, so let's take half of her. And you can go back and play later. Okay, so I'm going to glue that down. Now we can take her half, go to the next page, and that one's already torn up. We've already torn something out of that. And let's glue her down here. So you're just kind of shuffling. You're kind of shuffling your pages. And then when you go back to play, then you can paint in, or now like she's half gone because we used her for something else. But if you like, take some pages out. They're just full of ads or something. You can add another girl. Don't overthink it. Just kind of roll with it. All right, let's see if we did that one. Okay. I'm just trying to show you some examples here. Okay, and sometimes it comes out so unexpected. You just don't know what you're going to get. What kind of glue? Yeah, just a Yoo-hoo glue stick. Okay, let's go with half of her, or maybe half of her. And then maybe she can come over here, or she can. But you see how it reinvents. See how this reinvents the page? And you don't have to go from exactly one page to the next. It's just kind of fun to see what happens when you do that. You see? you know, it's an experiment to see what you get. And I always try to take out the perfume things because it bothers me. But let's see. I like when you do a half face. Okay. This other half girl here. And then you can go back and play on them. Try to trim that top off a little bit. And make a great and sometimes you just tear things and you don't know what's back there. Like, look at that. Okay, let's take this piece off. So look at that. See how it made a whole new... Let's take this middle ad out. Let's glue this down. See? And it's just fun to do. But I've used this magazine. Like, that's why I said I need to get a new one. Okay, let's do... Want her. No, two. Just didn't... I'm not feeling that one. Okay, like that. Let's cover up the hand. See? I'll tear off that edge. And you know, Tisha Moore does those weird eyes. I never really like those because they kind of creep me out a little bit. Like this. So we'll just keep rolling through the magazine. And it makes you play. It frees you up. It makes you play. Yeah, Tisha does a Zediology. I'm trying to do it more real, more realistic, not not too funky, not too funkified, but that's a good one right there. And sometimes when you just tear, so we've already played with altering her face. Sometimes when you just tear and you don't even know what's behind, you'll get something really cool. And then you have another half here. Let's just glue that down. Because you don't know what's going to happen, you know? See what I mean? See what I mean, Vern? Let's take that other half. over here. And see, like, look at this. I see this pretty hair over here. Well, what if we just took and just went right along the edge of her face here? I don't know why I grabbed my huge scissors, but and maybe let's take another layer off and another layer off down here. Okay, so we can glue this one to that one. It's just frees your imagination. And I don't know, this isn't probably for everybody, but I wanted to give you all some options. And then you can paint out. You can play with paint. Here's another one we did color with shapes, did cylinders. So let's go this way with her. Or you can go this way. Or we can go this way. There's just so much you can do. All right, so what do y'all think? Did I lose y'all on the tour? Yeah, it's fun. It's just fun. It's just something fun. And it makes it, like I said, it frees you up. It kind of gets you out of your comfort zone. You know? I don't know why I'm determined to use her little face. It's kind of a little creepy as is, but we'll glue it right there. You still there? Thanks, Sharon. I just use a liquid. The liquid, though, any liquids in a magazine journal, in a magazine, it's so, if you're going to be gluing things, it can wrinkle unless you really concentrate on like using matte medium where you're smashing it down with the card because these pages are so thin. But if you paint both sides and you're gluing things down and you're painting, the paint seems to help flatten things out. You can do it with anything, you know, you can do it with anything. It's just kind of fun to see what happens when you just remove something and there's a bit of something left, you know. I think that these were some fabric pieces for some collage there. It's fun. It makes me notice proportions. Yeah, it makes you notice. You know, it does. It makes you notice. All right, let's see what happens if we take her out. See? Sometimes it's just fun to see what happens. Whoop. But anyway, I wanted to show y'all some more inspiration with magazines. But for real, guys, for not just playing around here, but if you take your tracing paper and a Sharpie, or just a Sharpie on the actual page. The thing about using tracing paper is then you can take it away and you can see how big or small things are in proportion, you know? And you can tear them different ways. Tear them top to bottom, bottom to top. But it also helps you with, ideas for collage. It's just a creativity exercise, right? It's just a creativity exercise. Let's go. Yeah. So I don't know why I cut a little piece of blue out there. See? Take this one off. When drawing the storybook characters for Inktober. Oh, okay, Lynn. Well, maybe she needs to come. And you don't have to, if you don't like it, just move to another page. I'm getting to the end of the magazine. Then you can keep going back and go back and forth and add more, take more away, tear more out. Get glue on that side. Anyway, I think you get the idea. Yeah, and then you can go in here and paint things. All right, like right there, like that. I'm just going to hang off the edge, though. But I like that right there. And there's been a couple things where I've cut out, if I could find them, where I've actually pulled the magazines out. Let's see if I can find them in my collage box. And I'm going to give away a couple of my old art journal magazines, and y'all can play with those. Let's see. Let me kind of shuffle through here, see if I can get down. Where are they? I thought I had them on top, but I've been messing with my collage bits. Hang on. Let's see if I can. Oh, thank you, Margaret. Thank you for the super chat in pounds. Oh, thanks. That will help with postage, Margaret. Thank you so much. That is so sweet. Where are my girls? Thank you. It will help with postage. Where are those girls? I just had them on top. Did I stick them in here? Maybe they're in this magazine. Maybe. Maybe. Because I have some taken apart and re-glued. And they look really cool. Let's see if I can find them, though. Thank you so much, Margaret. That's so sweet. Y'all are awesome. Awesome sauce. It's not in here because they're tall. Where are my tall girls? Here. Here's one. Okay, so here. See how I reinvented her? Look how it just worked out. Isn't that cool? And then here's another one. So sweet. Thank you. Thank you, Margaret. So I have a few of those in here, but gosh, you know, this is my go-to collage bin for my altered books, my altered, you know, my anything. Collage. Say this is all the kind of stuff that I save. Calendars, books, magazines. But I like little bits of things like this. Who's baking, Mark? I see Mark mentioned Black Forest cake. Somebody's cooking. Here's some flowers. Just all different bits. These are all my collage that I use in my, here's some deli papers. Jelly plated deli papers. So anyway, I just wanted to show you those two girls. Let's see if I can move all this out of the way. So you see how that kind of reinvents. I just love that right there. Let's just go ahead and glue that to this page and tear that out. Because I like this whole thing right here. Right there. Look. Love that. Love everything about this. The composition, the shapes. Hey, Leather and Jay. We're just doing a little hodgepodge today using magazines and magazine journals. Okay, so quickly to review before we do a giveaway. We just showed some things to do in the magazine journals, or in magazines rather, using magazines. Showed how to take your some tracing paper and a Sharpie and see how things, the shapes and sizes that things really are. So practice that if you want to do the drawing. I recommend the drawing on the right side of the brain with the workbook, which I haven't used the workbook, but my copy here is from the 70s. So I'll keep all these together because we'll do, if y'all want to do another drawing, something, we'll come back to this. Let me get this tracing paper with that. So I'll have some next time we go to work in this. This is that separate stack. I showed how you can use a journal for scraping and saving excess paint. I don't know if y'all want to see any of those. I'll pull one down. I got papers everywhere. I have falling off the shelf. I have multiples of these kinds of journals for desk journals. These are my old desk journals where and they're the real Italian leather journals that you get at Barnes and Noble. They're not cheap, but I was using one a year there for a while. Let me adjust the lighting again. I was using one a year. So it's not bad if you spend $40, $50 on a journal if you're going to use one a year. I think I'll do one of each Bacola. I'll pull one from the bowl and I'll do a random one for those here. So yeah, I'll give away 2 of the art journal magazines. So these are just where I will glue random things, extra collage bits, and then just go back and, if I've scraped paint down, leftovers, that's what they are. It's leftover collage, leftover paint, leftover stuff that you have sitting around, and you just glue it in a journal. So I have multiples of these in the studio from, using one a year. And I won't show them all now because I've shown them kind of recently. But it doesn't have to be that. I've also done it with composition books. This one happens to be the little Black Dilutions journal that I'm using now to do the same kind of thing. This is my current desk journal. Okay, let's see. And then again, for a recap of our using magazines glued together to make other art journals, where you paint, scrape paint, play, and we just did this little brush lettering this morning. So they're fun, they're cheap, you can just use up your old magazines, and yeah. So I'll give away 2 of them. So we'll get one out of the bowl. This will be from the bowl. This one will be here. Don't do any numbers or anything yet, guys. All right. And I'll file this video under Art Journal Mixed Media Magazine Journal, because I do have a magazine journal playlist, I think, and the Society of Idea Collecting. So they'll be filed under multiple playlists, so you can find it. Don't forget, guys, it does take a couple hours sometimes to fully render the video, because I think literally every single video I have someone message me or comment to me, there's only half a video showing. There's only half a video and there's no chat. Well, it's because I'm finished with the live show, YouTube still has to render the video, and that can take a couple hours. One actually took overnight, and I had to re-render it. There was nothing I can do. These aren't videos I have saved on my computer. They're just straight live videos. So be patient. If you go back to watch the recording, give it a couple hours. Yeah, do not put any numbers in until I type go. I will get random.org here on my phone. Go there. One number only. The person closest without going over. And we're just going to do them both at the same time. So the two people closest without going over. Okay. Well, I spelled random wrong. Hang on. It'll be the two people closest without going over. Oh, no, wait. No, we're only going to do, never mind. Forget. We're only going to do one here. And then the other one I'm pulling out of the bowl. So sorry. Okay, let me get my random. Why can't I get it to come up? Random.org. Let's try again. There we go. Okay, so let's do the one out of the bowl first. So these are people that are in the Society of Idea Collectors. These are the names of all the people that are in the Society of Idea Collectors. I'm going to randomly pull one. These are people that have joined the Society of Idea Collectors and have sent me their address. I don't have to hunt them down. You don't have to be here to get, something from the bowl. It's a very deep bowl. I'm going to cover it up and dig down here in the bottom. Flick them up again. Let's pull one out. Okay. So Susan Caroliffi. Okay. So Susan Carolfi. Okay. So Susan Carolfi will get this one. Okay. And then we'll do another one. Now we'll do the random.org. Try not to change. Yeah. Wait till I type and go. One number only. Mark, you just email me and tell me how you collect your ideas. It's for people that like to jot down, note, write down, and even if it's on Post-it notes, I don't care how you collect your ideas. I just like to know that you're collecting them. So if you collect any kind of ideas, a notebook, a comp book, a traveler's journal, and you want to be in the Society Idea Collectors, I just like to know that you are collecting ideas. That's all it is, collecting ideas. And I've shown all my different 3-ring binders full of ideas, that kind of thing. Okay, so we're going to give this one's Robin Maurice. No, this one is Marianne Moss's profile. And again, it's from 2013, guys. They're just some older ones that I had. I wanted to do a magazine show today, so, we're giving a couple away. Okay, so I'm at random.org. Let me turn down the lighting so that it shows up better. Okay, so I'm going to do that. So get ready. I give you about 2 minutes, so don't wait around. Remember, one number only. One number only. The closest without going over. Thanks, Bacola. Yeah, there's my email. Okay. Everybody can put in a number now. And I'll give y'all a couple minutes until I type in stop. Because we got close to 150 people, so we'll give it a minute. I'll take a sip of juice. And it's just a magazine from 2013. But, these art journal magazines, to me, don't go out of style, do they? I mean, they're art journaling. All different kinds of art journaling. So I'm just doing a special giveaway today. Y'all know I give away a book the first week of every month. But I've done a couple extra ones this month. So thank you, Margaret, for the super chat. That will help. Because y'all's postage money for the show. And Norma gave me a super chat money. I think it was on Monday. I'm going to order a new microphone. So we'll be mic'd up. All right, get those numbers in because I'm getting ready to type in stop. Get them in, people. Get them in. You've had plenty of time. Get them in. First person closest without going over. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, stop. All right, so we're going to go to random.org. It's going to be between 1 and 150. Okay? Between 1 and 150, generate. 140, the person closest to 148 without going over. So if you had, a high number, you probably got it. Okay. I'll let the mods and everybody do it. Well, everybody can scroll back. Yeah, one number only. If you put in more than one number, you're not going to count. It's not going to count. Oh, Connie. Connie, thank you so much for the super chat. Oh, my gosh. You girls. Connie. Thank you, Connie. Thanks so much, Connie. Margaret and Connie. Y'all are awesome. Thank you both for the super chat today. Oh, yeah, I'll be ordering that microphone now right away. Between the two of y'all and the postage money. Oh, my gosh. Thanks, guys. Connie. Oh, Connie won? Connie had 134? Oh, my gosh. Connie, you won? Oh, my gosh, Connie. You had 134? Okay. Okay, Connie, you won. Congratulations. Oh my gosh, so sweet. I'm glad you won. Okay. All right. Well, you know what? Since we had such a good super chat today, we're going to give away one more. Let's give away this one. Let's do it all over again, shall we? We'll do it again. Okay, so we're going to start all over. We're going to do a whole nother giveaway. We'll do a whole nother number and everything. Because Connie gifted us a little extra today, so we could do an extra giveaway. How about that? Yes, more numbers, Eileen. More herding cats. Wait till I type and go. Everybody just calm down. Let's breathe. Get that box of Crayolas out and sniff it for a minute. Sniff that box. Sniff that box. Crayolas. Y'all know that's our meditative moment. Sniffing a box of Crayolas. Thanks for all the rules there, mods. Okay, so let me get ready here. Y'all ready for another one? Okay. Go. All right, everybody put in a number between 1 and 150. One number only. Everybody can participate. My mods can participate too. Anybody here can do it. So yeah. So this one's the Robin Marie Smith one. Yeah. Mixing words and art in a poem journal. So let me flip through this one while y'all are putting in numbers. When I say Robin Marie Smith, she's just a featured artist. There's all kinds of artists in here. And again, they don't go out of style. The art journaling, there's tips, techniques, tricks. They don't go out of style, right? How cool is this? Look. All right. Okay. Everybody get your number in. Okay, so let's go back to random.org. Here was our last one there. Here was our last one our last one was 148. So we're going to generate a new number. You ready? Here we go. 56. 56 is the new number. 56. Closest to 56 without going over. Okay. So I hope y'all have got some ideas for using magazines, making your own magazine journals, cutting up magazines, gluing them, restacking, reinventing, painting, playing, whatever with magazines. It doesn't matter, Elaine. It's not, trust me, if you ever had the lag in Ustream, this is nothing. This is nothing compared. And I think everybody had plenty of time to see their see numbers rolling by. When you see numbers rolling by, you know it's time to put in a number. Okay. Midnight Lizard, Deborah, which one had it first? Tell me again, which one had it first? Mods. Deborah Peterson was right on 56. Midnight had 56. Who had it first? Which one had it first? It's the first person that has it. Midnight Lizard had her number first? Okay. I don't have Midnight Lizard's address. So Midnight Lizard, you need to email me your address and I'll send you. They're from 2013, Kathy. All the ones I've shown today. I pulled them off my stack downstairs. I have stacks of them. These were from 2013, all of them. Okay. That's okay. So can somebody put in my address again for Midnight Lizard just to make sure? Congratulations, Midnight Lizard. What a cool name. Midnight Lizard. I love that. Okay. So email me your address. Okay. Mods put in my address again. There it is. Jean just put it in. Okay. So Connie, Midnight Lizard, and from the Society Bowl, Susan, Carol Liffey, Carol, and it could just be Carol Phi. It could be, could mean anything, but that's her name in our records. So there we go. Is there anything else y'all want to see or talk about for a couple of minutes before we go? We're only at 11. We've only been here for 2.5 hours. What's a short show today? Hey, Mr. Q. So thanks everybody for playing along. If anybody has any, here's what we did today in the little mini journal. This was in the cut up one. This is in the mini magazine idea collecting prompt playground. You're welcome. Fun show. Thanks, guys. I hope y'all have fun. Remember, give the show, to fully render. I mean, it'll pop up. It'll probably pop up as soon as we're done, but it may not have the 2.5 hours or the chat there yet. So, give it a little while to render. Okay. Yeah, maybe y'all can talk Janet into streaming. Thanks, Pacola. Oh, they look good in HD. Okay, good. Thanks, Pacola. Thanks, Katrina. Thanks, guys. Y'all have a great day, too. Janet is Janet M. Young. Yes, Janet M. Young. If she hasn't said she's going to stream yet, guys, but, if she does, even after I'm gone, I think y'all can talk for a little bit. I'm not sure for how long. You're welcome, guys. Yes, hit the little bell if you want notifications. of when I go live. I stream every Monday and Wednesday and the occasional Friday, and we do an impromptu every now and then, but for sure Monday and Wednesday, 9 a.m. Eastern time. Unless something comes up, and then I'll tweet, you know. All right, guys. Thanks so much. Y'all have a great, here, hump day. Mike, 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 Mike. Bye, guys.